Today we're going to color grade some log footage. I'm going to go over most, if not all, log formats, and we're definitely going to get raw covered. I'll throw the theory in there with it, and this is going to be one of the fastest ways to grade it without wasting too much time in the post-production process. I'm happy to see we all survived the coronavirus. Let's get to work. All right, filmmakers, we're back at it again. daVinci Resolve 15, same machine, again upgrade. This thing is grid locked in 2004. It's when I bought my machine. So we're going to make it work. You can follow the same steps, get the same work done in an updated version. If you have a later version, you're in the same boat I am. Just bear with me. I'll make sure this thing makes a ton of sense for you. We're going to get some media into our project. Go down here. Let's put all my files in a movies folder. I'll get something that's going to be in RAW. I tried to get some B-RAW footage at 6.5K by request, but my machine can't run it, man. So I'm going to have to do this in the old Blackmagic DNG cinema file, which is a RAW format. And it's going to work for all log and RAW formats because of a simple process, but we're going to get it done. Let's do it. All right, so what are we going to do here? Most, if not all, cameras that record in a log or RAW format the sensor starts that image with linear data. The gamma curve that they apply is proprietary to the manufacturer, but since the camera processing chip, the sensor takes that data in as linear, which makes it raw. You can apply any kind of curve you want in the post-processing stage of your edits. So let's go in the clip. All right, we have to take it down to a color space that recognizes linear, which is Rec 709. And then once we're in Rec 709, there it is, linear. So this is how your camera records and processes data. Now, what can we do with this? Okay, from here, our first node is going to be controlling what gamma curve we apply to this raw, unprocessed information collected by the camera sensor. And to help you follow along, I'm going to say this is going to be our working format. Okay? Makes sense? We do that in daVinci Resolve, but the golden effect, bro, is the color space transform. All right? We know our input color space had to be Rec 709 so we can get to the linear format. We know our gamma curve is going to be linear. Correct. There it is. Bang. Now, the timeline already has its own gamma curve applied to it in its color space. Now we're going to define that. This is where things can get a little bit misinformed. I don't know the details and the specifications for every single color space invented. And I don't know the gamma curves and how they divide the tonality and the zones. But I do know which ones that I worked with and I like. For me, I like Blackmagic Design 4.0. Any Blackmagic Design color space, any Arri Alexa color space, any of those high-grade cinema cameras are going to do fairly well. I haven't tried Sony Gamut, but for the purposes, this is what I'm going to do for you. I am going to select the most basic color space and the most basic gamut mapping, okay? To show you, we're just mapping the tonality that was captured by the camera sensor in a technical, precise way. So sRGB, this is all the old Photoshop format, and we're going to go Gamma 2.2 because that's the industry standard of tonality and contrast that's on your TV, it's on YouTube, it's just the industry standard. Most people say it's Rec 709, but I assure you it is not. And I'll share a link in the description below so you can get the technical information on that. So now that we have that, we're going to pop in a node to control the gamma curve because it's obviously the entire right side of her face is too bright. We're going to get a node for the white balance, and we're going to stack those because those are all kind of the same. And then we're going to get a node to handle the color information. And that's it. That's going to be your technical grade. If we're doing a technical grade, we need a device to measure what we're doing, all right? And that is what we need. The scopes, the waveform monitor, and the vector scope are going to help us do just that. So let's jump into our curves. Boom. Since we're working on this, I'll call it tonality. And what that is like, you remember the Ansel Adams zone system, how the gradient from dark to light works? That's all it is, okay? We're mapping out where the darkest dark is and the brightest white is and where we want that information to sit in the middle. So we're only going to be messing with this curve, all right? In order to keep this thing from emulating another log image, I always turn on editable splines. And this just makes sure that, hey, I have a S curve no matter what I do with this. Okay? So I can tell already that this image was a little bit overexposed. So we might want to bring down the whole thing here. And then move the shadows way down to about just above 0. They call it samples. Right? Now look. And again, I'm going to have to bring down the right side of her face and see what the camera actually kept. So we can widen it again, and then I can drop it down here until I get something that looks like it's salvageable. And now you're going to start to see the limitations of Gamma 2.2. But look, if I go back in here and I say, it didn't work out, I have the option to say, I need a different color space. So this is where I'm going to show you how much this decision is going to affect your final image. We're going to go to my favorite color space, and then we're going to use the old Airy Log C, which has, in my opinion, a beautiful, beautiful spread of dynamic range. And look at that. You see, now this thing, maps out my highs and lows probably across 13, 15 stops of dynamic range, where Gamma 2.2 probably only had 12 stops of dynamic range. I just have more dynamic range in this image because of the output gamma in the log C profile. So that decision is highly important. I did that so you could see it. If your grades are looking like cat vomit, maybe you need to get into your color space transform and really manage your image with the right parameters. I've been using the Airy one for such a long time. I just know it's extremely versatile and you can beat the crap out of it. So now look at my waveform monitor. Nothing clipped because I have that much more dynamic range within the camera profile. And I can really go in and pull out all that detail that was lost by selecting the Gamma 2.2 contrast profile. Now you have a one that handles dynamic range as well as the Airy one. I go in between 0 and 896 is when my image starts to really get contrasty in a good way. If you go above 96, you'll start to see the flaws that you saw with Gamma 2.2. All right, that's close enough for government work, right? Now, with this one, we're just going to get the white balance to help balance the image better. Now, the shooter of this footage, which is myself in this instance, I didn't have a white balance card. I didn't have an X-right color checker. Those things are optimal for selecting your white balance. But we can pixel hunt to get something close to white. So when all these R, G, and B are close to the same number, that should be a good sample of white. The right way to do it is to get a ream of computer paper, take about 10 sheets out, hold it up so there's no opacity going through it. You know, it's an opaque white card. You can buy a poster board at Walmart, cut it into small pieces, stick them in your wallet, and use a gray card, or get the X-right color checker for $200 and hold it in front of the frame that's going to be the master in your scene. And then you sample that in the post process. But I don't have it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to give up on it? Nah, I'm going to say this door frame is supposed to be white. Let's see what it does to my image. And it turns it a little cooler. And you can see those parameters affecting it are the color temperature and the tint. So if I don't like it, I say it's too much, I can go in here and hit negative 128 and it warms it up just a tad bit more. And that's all that node is for. You want to separate that from your coloring correction node, and you just want a strict white balance node that came off of a sample from within the image, a pixel sample. I call it pixel hunting. But like I said, the ideal way to do it is to get a white piece of paper, poster board, a gray card. If you want to go and make sure you have the right sample of 18% gray or white, go get the X-Rite color checker, go buy a gray card that has been calibrated by a lab, and you'll be 100% accurate on your white balance every time. Okay, moving on to the color node, most people touch these damn wheels. Leave those wheels alone. They're for creative use. When you're doing technical things, I like to get into the RGB mixer. I don't have a reason why other than it's the traditional way of doing it from analog film, and it offers me 10 times more control because I know how it works, and it washes across the entire image. It's not on any curve. It's straight linear. And it to me, look how much saturation I pulled out of that image, right? Before and after. You can do that with the saturation tabs and the parameters there. So we go back to the wheels. What I mean is you go to color boost, and if you really want to stretch this thing out, remember it can't go past the line of scrimmage between Y and R and M, and you know there's imaginary lines that you can't go. That means your colors are out of tolerance. So if I hit this thing at 15, you see how it just makes the image look like pig vomit because it's getting really close to the imaginary line. I usually boost it by 1 or 3 points after the RGB mixer, just to make sure I have a full color contrast image. So this one would probably be 1.5, and that will be it. And now if you see the image is a little bit pinker, you can tell here by the tint that, hey man, there's some magenta in this image that I might not want. Right? So you just pull it out by using the white balance node. And now we're getting there. Now we're getting there. Now we're getting there. It's a little bit green. You go in. Let me label this color so you guys don't get confused. Color management. All right, guys, thank you for watching that video. If you like and subscribe, I'll get part 2 uploaded and show you how to do the creative grade. After you finish the technical grade, we got these hats in the shop at filmclubamerica.com. All proceeds go to helping filmmakers up to 95%. The other is for hiring people to help me out, make videos like this, and also to support our programs. Again, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in that video to help you get your creative grades done.